Hi there. You're watching Pop Culture Warrior. This is the way.
Hi there. It's your second favorite DP right here, okay? No, that's Deadpool, you silly little Hufflepuff. Anyways, I'm gonna need you to shut up that pretty little mouth of yours and pay attention because the show's about to start, alright? And, I don't know about you, but I know who's my vote for sexiest ex-soldier turned pop culture show host. Alright, enough foreplay. Let's get on with the show.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey everybody, welcome one and all. Today is August 27th? Yeah, August 27th, 2024. This is episode 181 of Pop Culture Warrior. It's the show where I stay up to date on what's happening. Oh my God. Let me try this again. Sorry, throat thing. This is the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. I am CQ. I'm your Pop Culture Warrior. And joining me now is our much beloved co-host, the man in the bubble, the Marine with the mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, give a big hidey ho to Mr. Mad Mike. Yay!
What up, peoples?
What up, peoples?
You should have did your freaking vocal warm-ups like me,
Yellow
and
leather,
you wouldn't
red
know how
leather.
to do the intro.
Yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather.
Just trying to power everything up, and over here like red leather, yellow leather, red leather,
He's doing
yellow leather.
leather.
Can you say something else?
Doing all the vocal exercises. He's over there. Get himself ready. Just like it's another.
At PCW, what the freak? Shut up.
Hey guys, how you doing out there? Tonight, man, what do we've got for you tonight? So many things. We've got the latest news, some trailers, and joining us in the second hour is just an incredible human being. He is a super talented voiceover artist who's known for incredible things like Psycho Mantis in the original Metal Gear Solid and a bunch of characters from what was it called? M.A.S.K, the animated series, the Legend of M.A.S.K, or something like that. It was a really popular 80s cartoon. He's done anime, he's done video games, he's done cartoons, he's done everything. Incredible dude. Doug Stone is going to be joining us later tonight live to talk about some really cool stuff and share some really cool news. Very excited to talk with him. I got to hang out with him at M.G.S.Con 1 and 2, and very cool dude. Very, very, very cool dude. He signed... I have that Psycho Mantis duck back there, and he signed it. Very cool guy. Really appreciate him.
Nice.
But I'd be remiss to say that there's just so much happening. So where to begin? First of all,
too, there's a country singer with the same exact name as him.
There is a country singer. You know, because you know me, I like to do my research. I like to learn about my guests. I was like,
I don't,
man,
and I saw the graphic, and then I was like, let me Google this guy, and I was like, why are we having a country singer on? And I was like, man, he looks way older than he does in the picture they just put out.
I was like, I started doing research on the guy, and I was like, man, he's done a lot more than I thought. I thought he was just a voice actor, but apparently he's an accomplished country singer as well.
Right.
So yeah, no, he's great. Oh, I like that. He said you're the Marine with the mandible. I like that. I like that. That's pretty good. The Marine with the mandible. Yeah. So, bro, be catfishing. Y'all funny. Got jokes. Already. Oh, Mike, Mad Mike, you froze on us, dude. There, your camera froze. You're like, that's all right. You're good. Yeah, you gotta get off that AOL dial-up, bro. I keep telling you.
I have so many discs. I gotta use them all.
Bro, it's just not. Brett. Yeah, I'm gonna put him on timeout until he can get his business sorted. Restart your router or whatever it is you got to do, dude, and we'll get going. All right. With that, what do we got going on here? Let's see. Let's take a look at my news, my headlines. So I just thought this was interesting. We've talked a lot about, Deadpool and Wolverine and how well it's going for them. Oh man, you guys are hilarious. Let's bring Mad Mike. Are you good now?
I don't know. I hope so. This stuff's fine on my end. It's on your
He's like, I
end.
don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Whatever. It is what it is. So unplug it and plug it back in. That's right. No,
Exactly
Angry Elf.
what I did.
Angry Elf. Dude, the minute you froze, Angry Elf jumps in. He's like, hey, you want me to sub in? I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go, coach. Put me
He's
in.
like,
Put me in,
on
coach.
his PC, ready to go.
He's in the shirt and everything, man. He's ready to
I
go.
watch ready to go. It's
You don't
good,
need to
man.
get ready if you stay ready. You know what I'm
Every
saying?
team needs an excellent utility player.
That's right. That's right. He's our what they call it, like in the
utility
Wildcat
player.
offense. Yeah.
No, it's baseball. I don't fucking talking
We're talking
about
football. Charles wants to know: are you using Earthlink to connect? Is that what you got?
Using AOL. I got all those discs, baby.
all the
I had to
discs,
put a new
baby.
disc in. Once it gets down to about 20 minutes, it's like hit or miss.
It's you're like timing it down to the second,
Mhm.
So we're just saying, Deadpool and Wolverine continues to break records all around the world. Something we talked about months ago, because when we were saying, how there's gonna be a cameo fest, there's gonna be all these things. We knew that Rob McElhenney had filmed a cameo. It was, if you watch Welcome to Wrexham, there's an episode where it shows him. He's a TVA
Yeah,
agent, and
that's right.
obviously that wasn't in the movie. So just today, Deadpool himself, Ryan Reynolds, went on Instagram to say a little something. I want to share it because it's just so funny to me. So he says, a word on my darling friend, Rob McElhenney. Rob very kindly did a cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine, which will hopefully live on in the digital extras. While editing a movie, they say you sometimes have to kill your darlings, and with a heavy heart and through great outside intervention, I had to kill a darling with this cameo. The sequence wasn't working the way we'd originally constructed it. Rob was the only reason it stayed in the cut for as long as it did, because even under a TVA mask and helmet, you can feel him smoldering with a raw and almost infinite reserve of talent, writerly wit, and I create hit TV show swagger. Don't even get me started on Wrexham. I wouldn't know a love like Wrexham AFC if it weren't for Rob McElhenney. Anyway, I loved making this movie, but it wasn't without stress. There was a lot of expectation, and I'm pretty sure the most well-written villain in cinema history is expectation. And when you do stressful stuff, it feels good when friends are nearby. And even though I'm mortified, he flew all the way to London for a cameo that wasn't meant to be. I'm grateful my friend was there for me on set. When I see Rob, my heart rate slows and my nervous system stops yelling at me. He shows up for people, and he showed up for me, even as he begged for his life before Eliath snatched his unsuspecting body into the air, swallowing him whole, and eventually digesting him and converting him into Eliath poo. Rip TVA soldier. And then there's a small PS. P.S. Rob would make an awesome Hydra Bob. Just letting you know, Marvel Studios. And that was the end. Now, remember, for a while, we postulated that, that would be a great cameo for him to play Hydra Bob, where they're friends in the movie universe, just as they are in real life. So whether or not that's what happened, it is what it is. Hey, Ori, he says, this has nothing to do with the military. This is BS. Who cares about a movie? You are 100% accurate. This has nothing to do with the military. This show is about pop culture news and happenings. I mean, if you're not interested, see ya. I got nothing for you, man. If you want to see, we do
back on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, you pick, take your pick. We've got shows covering, but Tuesdays is for pop culture. Tuesdays is for me to geek out and nerd out and talk about all the things I want to talk about. and share it with those that are passionate about it. But what was I saying? So yeah, it was kind of a bummer because I'm sure it would have been a hilarious cameo because he's gonna hook up his guy with a hilarious cameo, and I think from what we saw in the commercials, there was a scene where we see a TVA soldier get eaten by a Goliath, and I'm pretty sure that was him. So yeah, it is what it is. Well, maybe next time.
At least we know.
Yeah, at least we know he was there, but these things happen.
Would you fly me out and for a cameo of me to get eaten by something?
Absolutely.
And then cut me like a little third-rate whore?
Yes, that's
that would be your thing. Like, I'll just have Mad come to everything, and I'm just gonna cut him out of everything I do.
See, what people don't realize is that Mad Mike's been a part of this, this show for 5 years, and it's only recently that I didn't start cutting his stuff out. So, he's been cut out for a very, very long time.
We were filming 2 shows a week just so we could not air it.
Yeah, I told him he had his own show, and it was streaming live, and really it was connected. He's just talking to a dead camera the whole time. So
I could see you. I swear I'm here. He kept texting me. That was weird. It was texting me when I have headphones in.
All right. So what came out today? Funny enough, they released the trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Now, as already stated in the chats, a lot of people not going to care. But it's a big thing. It's a big movie. They were
doing a part 3.
Yeah, I know.
I know they had the Knuckles, which I never finished watching. Forgot about it.
I mean, it is what it is. Let me switch there it is, my audio. I want you to be able to see it. I just remember during the pandemic, the whole kerfuffle with that Sonic design when it first came out, which the smartest thing they did was change it, because if they had kept it the way it was and they were like, look, we're going for our own interpretation, nobody would have seen it. Nobody would have watched the movie, and this universe that they've built out of it would not exist. But one was it was okay. It was an okay movie. Kid, again, you got to remember these are designed for kids and marketing to kids. But I thought it was an okay movie, and 2 was fine as well, and introduced Knuckles and whatever. But there was a little tease at the end of part 2 that showed Shadow in a glass dome, and became a whole thing of like, oh my God, part 3 is gonna have Shadow, and who's gonna voice Shadow, and this and all that. Well, there's a trailer. Let's play the trailer and see if your keen ears can detect who's doing the voice for Shadow. And I think it's fairly obvious, but let's take a look.
Morgan Freeman.
I remember when I was a young warthog. That's a hedgehog.
And that was when Andy realized.
That's when Andy realized I was Shadow.
Sonic, you finally found your family.
Try to keep up.
I know it hasn't always been easy, but you didn't change who you are in here.
Yeah, in my lungs.
Or your heart.
There's been a high-level security breach. And we need Team Sonic's immediate assistance. Project Shadow is far beyond anything we've ever encountered.
Shadow's story began a lot like yours, Sonic. But where you found family and friends, Shadow found only pain and loss.
All right, we got a rogue alien on the loose. How do we find it?
Start with a giant fireball?
I love it. Let's start with a giant fireball.
He is much more impressive than the hedgehog I fought previously.
Dude, I'm standing right here.
You're a colorful bunch.
We don't want to fight you.
Actually, Sonic, I would like to fight.
No, no! My turn. Can we just talk about this? He's too powerful. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we need you-know-who.
This is a bad idea.
When has that ever stopped me?
Doctor!
We have visitors.
This is sad, Robotnik. Even for you.
We need your help.
On one condition. Let's do this! If I can't rule the world, I might as well save it! I need room.
But, sir, I don't have the proper materials. Found some.
When we're done, there won't be anything left.
Hey, no cheat code!
What did you do? What I had to. Welcome home, my boy.
It's impossible.
Is it?
It couldn't be.
Couldn't it?
Are you? In the saggy flesh.
And we're back. What'd you guys think? What'd you guys think of the trailer? Mad Mike, started with you. What you got?
I had no sound, and I wasn't told about this beforehand.
You had no. What do you
glad-
mean you had no
I like
sound?
how Jim Carrey just shows up, like, that's how he looks normally, like long hair and giant. Well, he can't grow facial hair, but
I mean, come on. I mean, oh man.
I freeze.
No, that's me. Don't worry about it. I got you. So
But yeah, it looks like all the other ones. I don't know. I'll wait for it to come out on Paramount Plus.
so you got Anubis and Scott. You're right. It is Keanu Reeves. Yes, Keanu Reeves is doing the voice of Shadow the Hedgehog.
What can't that guy do?
What can't that guy do? You know, it's funny. A thing just came out that in the Acolyte that just came out, the guy from Squid Games that was playing, I forget what his name was. God, it's so. But Keanu Reeves was supposed to have that part. They had said he had it, and then due to scheduling conflicts, he had to back out, and that's when they cast the other guy. So Keanu could have been in Star Wars. I mean, apparently he's just trying to jump into every franchise ever. So
God, he needs that retirement money, man.
he's trying to get that money. Excuse me. But yeah,
Imagine that. Like, that would have been way better.
It could have been. You need to feel the force, dude.
Yeah,
you just gotta go with it, bro.
Oh, because I feel like because he's so much power, like he would have told him, like, this is stupid. Why are we doing it this way? Why are we doing it that way?
Like, I'm just gonna rewrite all of this and do it my way.
Yeah.
Speaking on the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer, I don't know. It looks about the same as everything else. It looks very cutesy. It's good special effects. The acting is going to be, the acting. I mean, Cyclops is going to be Cyclops, and Jim Carrey's going to be Jim Carrey.
We'll talk about it. American hero, James Marsden, man.
James Marsden.
That guy just won't stay down. I mean, they keep putting him in the bottom of the barrel, and he just rides it out.
I tell you, like, there are people that figure out their niche and just coast. You know what I mean? They don't fight the system; they just coast and they go.
He does well. I mean, God bless him. Fuck, I'd do it too if I could, man. That show he did though, with the jury thing,
duty.
that was
jury
great,
duty.
man. That was the best.
Yeah.
I forget how good of an actor he is because he does all these shitty roles, and then when you see him do shit like that, you're like, oh yeah, he had some skills that he just
Believe
doesn't
it
like
or not,
showing them off.
what if that wasn't him acting and he was just being his normal self? Like
Well, that would be even better.
he's like I'm totally acting when really he's like, this is exactly how I am when the cameras aren't on.
I don't blame him for 1 second. Even better. I would like him even more.
Like
It's fucking hilarious.
What I find interesting the most of this is that
They
Jim
keep paying
Carrey Jim Carrey coming out of part 2 said he was retiring. He said he was done with acting. He wasn't coming back. I don't know. Maybe it was a ploy to make more money. Who knows?
No, he just
I
keeps
mean,
burning himself. You don't delve into politics when you're an actor, and he keeps doing shitty paintings. You know how much art supplies cost? It's a lot of money. All right,
art supplies are very expensive. You are right. You are right.
especially with inflation.
So here's a challenge for you. This is his third movie in this franchise. Name a single movie that Jim Carrey has done. Like, he's only done 2 sequels. He's
Yeah,
done Ace Ventura, the sequel, and he's done Dumb and Dumber after like
yeah.
30 years apart. That's it. He's not in any other sequels. And so for him to come back for a threequel is really unheard of. He hated the idea of sequels. He didn't like returning to a character. So I mean,
Well,
it's
have you
it's
seen
interesting.
his movies? Like, what the fuck else are they gonna do? Cable Guy 2? No,
I mean, I could see
he
it.
is not like. He's
If they announced
overrated
Cable
and
Guy
he's super
2,
annoying.
if they announced Cable Guy 2, I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be. In this in this day and age, and how, they're trying to sequelize everything and member bury everything and have
Okay,
all
they'll
these
do it, but he's not gonna be in it. They'll put Kevin Hart in it.
Kevin Hart and Jamie Lee Curtis
I'm
as
here. I'm here for the cable. Your cable's out. I'm here. And then The Rock's gonna be there, like, I didn't hire you to put my cable in. Yeah, you did. Why would I be here if you didn't need cable?
We're gonna clip that and we're gonna send that over to, I don't know who owns the rights, but we're gonna send that to them and they're gonna be like, give this guy a check.
This is it. That's Gold Lionsgate's producing it.
Lionsgate's. And first of all, if I say threequel, that is
Callback.
not incorrect. It's called a trilogy. It's a threequel. All right, it's a threequel.
Trilogies are reserved for stuff people want to watch.
Charles says he did great job in number 23. Yeah, man. Like, look, a lot of people hate on Jim Carrey, whatever, for his whatever. There are certain roles of his that I truly love outside of the comedic performance. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is one of my all-time favorite movies. One of my all-time favorite movies. Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? That
It's
was
such a good movie.
one of the dumbest movies I ever
Such
watched
a
in
good
my
movie.
life.
Such
Everyone's
a good
like, this is great. I'm like, this is the stupidest fucking movie.
You're
I'd rather watch
stupid.
Good Burger.
They made a sequel to Good Burger. So no, I really did. I did enjoy that movie. I love the mind twisty, like the Inception style of, you don't know what's real and all. Like, I love that kind of stuff in movies, and I thought he did a great job in that movie. The love lost sick puppy kind of role.
Truman Show, I liked. It was
Truman
a little
Show,
too
yeah.
long though.
It was a bit long, but whatever. Let's see.
Majestic was just garbage.
All right. Speaking of sequels that I don't remember people asking for, there was, who remembers 28 Days Later, the zombie? It was a movie that originally went really under the radar and then kind of built a cult following. And really, like, for everybody you think of zombies, you think Walking Dead and these things. But
It
28
was the
Daters,
first one where the zombies were slow. It was fucking great. I love that movie.
that movie brought zombies back into the mainstream. There was just a long, because you were Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead and all these, but there wasn't a really good zombie movie before that for a long, long time. And so that revolutionized and brought back zombies. Obviously, they made a sequel to it 28 weeks later? I think, was it 28
Yeah.
months later? Something like that.
It was weeks.
28 weeks later. Yeah. So a lot of people were like, well, where's 28 months later? Well, according to producer Andrew McDonald, he was speaking at the Edinburgh Film Festival. He revealed that production has wrapped on 28 years later. And that not only is that movie, because nobody even knew this was on the happening. And he's like, oh yeah, we've already finished it.
I heard.
You knew your insiders?
I heard some things.
Your insiders, you got the inside scoop. You gotta let us know, man. When you guys,
Yeah.
we gotta let us know these things.
No, someone had asked like Killian Murphy about it or something, and
Yeah.
he had said he kind of like deal like, oh, I heard there might be something.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But the cool thing was this: not only do we have confirmation that 28 years later has wrapped, it's wrapped production. That means it's, they're gonna do the post stuff and then the press stuff and then the marketing stuff, and then it's out. Not only is that movie done, that there's plans for 2 more movies, all 3 written by and produced by the same team. The filmmaker Alex Garland, he was at the same film festival, and like I said, broke the news that not only has that movie wrapped, but they're progressing on the sequels, already moving on before this one even hits theaters. And this is a quote. He says, "We're making hopefully 3 more 28 films, with the first one called 28 Years Later. That was written by Alex, and Danny has directed. They finished shooting it. Then we're just about to start part 2, and then we're hoping that there's going to be a 3rd part and make it a kind of a 28 Years Later trilogy. It's set to star Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor Johnson, which if Aaron Taylor Johnson's in it, it's gonna suck. Ralph Fiennes is in it. I mean, God bless him. Aaron Taylor Johnson. I have nothing against the guy. Just talk about just has had a string of shit.
Who is that? I don't know.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. He was he's playing Kraven. He's playing Kraven in the Kraven movie. He was Quicksilver in the MCU. He was Kick-Ass.
Okay. Yeah.
Again, I'm sure he's a wonderful guy, and whoever his representation is, man, they're just not getting him in the right roles. But so hopefully we see him get eaten by a zombie, and that'll be the role of a lifetime.
Spreading it out and hopefully eventually people will like him, or he'll get lucky.
Bless, man. He is just I wish no ill will on anyone. I wish him all the best in his career. But it's just been a swing and a miss after a swing and a miss. They didn't even have the decency to bring him back in WandaVision. They brought in someone else to play Quicksilver.
Yeah,
true. It's just, man. It's important. Anyway, so obviously currently details of the plot of the film have not been revealed, but assuming it continues the story 28 years later. And
that's so bold, though, because they did 28 days later, and then the second one was a few years later before they did it, and I don't think it did too well. The first one started out slow and then built momentum.
Yeah.
The second one, I don't think it did that well, and that's why you haven't heard anything. And now they're like, yeah, let's do 3.
This is my thought on this, and honestly, this is what I think. The first one really came out of nowhere. It was like a no-name director at the time. What's his name? Cillian Murphy was not a household name at the time. It was as close to an art house zombie movie as you get.
Like an independent film, yeah.
Yeah, it was very gritty. It was very unpolished. People loved it, ran away with it in time. When they made the sequel, they went the route of Hollywood, right? You get Jeremy Renner was in the second one. You get Idris Elba was in the second one. You get all these people, and it it looked like the Jason Bourne zombie movie, basically, because it was. I mean, it was shot, and it was shot cinematically. It was shot well, but I feel like that's why people didn't like it, because if you went to see that based off your liking 28 Days Later, you got something totally different.
Yeah,
you got The Walking Dead, the motion picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like if you watch our show and then you go watch Joe Rogan show, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Right. Exactly like that.
They have a whole set. Their stuff works. They're not freezing.
They have producers. they have
what?
Can I get a drink? Can I get it?
Yeah, if I'm asked for a drink, nobody's here to get me anything. You'll probably see my wife fucking punch me in the face.
No, Nick, I'm hopeful that this third one is going to be a return to kind of what people liked about the original. It's coming from, a lot of the original creators and writers, and again, rumor had it that they were trying to bring back some of the people from the first one, including the main character. And they even quoted as saying, like, if we could bring him back, we would do it in a very interesting way, so not making him one of the main characters or something, but obviously bringing him for something. So yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued, and I hope, it leads to something. So we'll see.
I mean, there ain't nothing else out, so.
He says he showed his ding dong. Yeah, that's funny. Yes. That
was the old Hollywood days when you had to show it to get ahead.
Oh man, Scott said that's where Mad Mike's been. He's in the film. Oh man, if that were only true. If that were only true.
I was the other naked guy next to him, and they cut me out.
He's the when they get the real close tight shot, like he was the cameraman. He was
there.
You need a special
Why
cameraman.
are you so close to that guy's dong? You gotta capture it.
We're doing this in 4K. You gotta get IMAX.
Don't worry, I got a certificate and everything. Totally a camera operator.
Oh God, that's too much. So, in other news, and this is, you and I are a bit of comic book collectors and auteurs, if you think, a copy of Action Comics' first issue, which obviously contains the debut of Superman, recently sold. And I want you to guess how much. Now, I'll give you a little bit. It was a graded copy. It was graded very fine plus, which is about an 8.5. It's it's in remarkable shape for being an 85-year-old comic.
People didn't keep them back then. That was the other thing.
So the fact that it's an 85-year-old comic book in an 8.5 condition, what do you think that comic book sold for?
Well, I think the previous record was like $750. So it's probably 1.5, I would say.
You're saying 1.5 million?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, north of that, my friend. Well, nice. North of that.
Comics have gone up a bit, sir.
Comics have gone up a bit.
Them's too rich for my blood. I'm over here
heard
like
of a thing called inflation.
One of my comics is worth $100. I'm like, fucking, I'm in the money. Told you it paid off.
I only paid $99 for it, baby. I'm in the green. But inflation, I've lost money. No, so Action Comics, number 1, 8.5, sold for a staggering $6 million.
Yeah, that's
$6
right.
million.
Insanely good though. There's not many of those. How many does it say how many of those there are?
How many in existence?
Yeah, like how many are like above a 7 or an 8?
That's a great question.
Usually
I don't know
they're like
many.
4s or 5s. Like the fucking cover will be all like someone wiped their ass with it. I'm like, it's worth $400,000. Like, what the shit on it?
There's a stain going right through the middle. That's we took like 50 off.
Literally, people would just throw them out.
Yeah.
Like
They would clip out the
put them
coupon.
in
Remember
their
there was like coupons?
bikes. Yeah.
There's like, if you clip this out and send it, you get a fucking decoder ring that's like not worth anything.
They would use it. It was like back in the day, they needed like heat, so they would light them bitches on fire and shit. I don't know. Probably use them as toilet paper. I was just making that up.
Hey, shout out to Susan. Susan says, I don't know what it is, but CQ is just a person that I can't be mean to without feeling like shit. He's a good guy. Have a great night. I got chaos on the interwebs to do. I'm evil. There you go. Look at it. See, some people can be nice to me. Some people.
Okay. That's a fucking Russian bot. Tell your wife to get off the fucking internet.
Wait, is it a Russian bot or is it my wife? Which is it?
It's either one and the same.
Well, thank you, Susan. I appreciate it. That's it. People are mean to me.
Obviously, you don't watch this show.
People are mean to me all the time. It's okay.
Just me. That's my job. That's
when
why I'm here.
when you're willing to put your face on the internet, you have to accept that it's
Well,
going to come
you
with
gotta
just a
put that in
ton of
when
shit.
you have a face like yours and you're willing to put it out there.
When
You
you
open
look like
yourself up
me,
to certain.
when you look like me,
You open yourself up to certain critique.
you have to,
And some of us just choose to ignore it.
you're gonna have certain amount of feelings sent your way. It's okay.
I think she logged off real quick before I fucking burned you.
Oh God, it's all right. It's all right. You know what I mean? It's one of the things. It's one of the fun when you
Some
cheat
people
at
gotta
table.
be positive. Some people gotta be. You say, yeah. Someone saying you're cheating at games.
Scott says, "Oh man, when you cheat at tabletop games, you deserve what you get."
Exactly. See,
Man.
I've been saying it for years.
You can say what you will about me. Say what you want. You can
it's
make
probably
fun of me. You can do all the things. But one thing I will defend to the day I die is the highest of integrity. When I play games, I play to win, and I want to win fairly and justly. I've gotten into
just
fights.
a little. It's only cheating if you get caught.
It's only cheating if you get caught. Exactly. It's like magic, right? It's only fake if you see the wires. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Or politics. It's only bad if you get caught.
Yeah, exactly. No, side tangent. When it comes to, dude, true story, I once got into a fight with my wife's family. She's one of like 11 kids. It's crazy. There's a lot of them. We decided it would be a fun idea to play Monopoly, but her family cheats, and they don't even cheat like subtly, blatant. I mean, they don't call it cheating, right? They call it helping each other out.
Yeah,
that's just
that's
that's a churched up cheating. I would literally they landed on my hotel. Oh no, I don't have any money. So I'm like, all right, bye, bitch, you out. And then you see like dad or one of the sisters or something sliding money across. Here, I got you. Like, no, that's not how this works. That's not how. And then of course I get labeled as a sore player, and I'm like, you guys are cheating. You're literally cheating. Anyway, sorry. I get riled up. Don't get me riled up. I get riled up.
I don't play that either. And then all of a sudden, you're so mean. You're such an asshole. I'm like, yes, I am. That's why my fucking thing says Mad Mike. Because you fucking make me mad. Cheating makes me mad.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm like, look, I don't. Anyway, okay, let it go.
You can't get people. Is it in the direction? If it's not in the fucking directions, you can't do it. God damn it! It doesn't say if you have 7 hotels and somebody lands. You think Donald Trump's gonna let you stay in his hotel for free? No. You get the fuck out.
Oh man. Go back to your shithole, empty lot.
You poor fuck. You shouldn't have spent all your money on waterworks. You fucking build on Park Place.
Who buys railroads? You know what kind of economy we're in?
Nobody uses railroads. Ask Canada.
They should be airports, not railroads. Anyway. Oh God.
You have anything cool to talk about? Or we just gonna talk about personal issues?
Oh man. All right. Anyway.
Okay. PTSD.
I got it.
You haven't played Monopoly since. I burned every copy I see.
And the sad thing is I have 6 different copies of Monopoly. That's the sad thing.
So do I.
So many different.
Disney related.
Like Monopoly, and then I think the other one's Clue. I don't know why. I have like 5 versions of Clue. I like Clue, don't get me wrong.
Why do you keep making so many versions?
It's so many. Anyway, sorry. Y'all know I have a thing about games. Anyway.
Do you? I don't think if you really liked them, you would have another show or something about.
What was? Oh what was his name? I'm mixing up two guys. Who was the in Arrow? The guy, you remember the guy? The
Hamill?
guy.
Not Hamill. M.A.S.K.
No, not the guy that played Arrow. Sorry, it's the guy that played Slade Wilson. The guy that you had a
Oh,
moment
Manu
with.
Bennett.
Manu Bennett. Thank you. I was
My
getting
boyfriend.
him, my boyfriend. I was getting him and Frank Grillo mixed up.
Right. They look kind of
They're
like
so similar.
similar.
They might as well be the same guy for all we know.
Yeah.
It's just the same guy trying to get paid for multiple roles. I don't know.
You're gonna see Manu Bennett like, my name's Frank. Like, what?
Oh man, yes. Sorry, no, yeah. Sorry, my brain went on a whole tangent. There was a report that it came out that James Gunn, who's now running, the DCU or whatever the fuck they're calling it now, the DC, I guess DCU. I think that's what they went with. Anyway, because it was stupid to be DCEU. With the DCU, so we know he's relaunching everything. It's so confusing. I just wish that they would come out and just say what it is, because they're like, well, we're rebooting everything, but some characters are returning, but other things aren't going to be what they were, but it'll be the same person, but with a different story. Reboot. Like, it's like, what? Because, like, okay, you're getting a new Superman, you're getting a new Lois Lane, you're getting all this, but then, like, there's rumors that Gal Gadot's coming back as Wonder Woman. We know the kid that played Blue Beetle, he's coming back. We know they're filming, what's it called? Peacemaker right now, but they're not even calling it Peacemaker Season 2. It's just, all the people from Peacemaker ignoring everything that happened in Season 1, which is, again, it's just so weird. It's so weird to me. It
just do, like, if it worked, like Batman, Peacemaker, Suicide Squad, just fucking keep it and do your own thing. Like, instead of mixing it up, I don't know. That's what it seems like they're trying to do. Like, oh, this was really successful. It's probably the studio.
Well, sure.
Because I'm sure DC is nervous, and they seem like they're overly, like, into shit. Like, it would be like if I was running this show and then I had you, like, constantly, no, you gotta do it like this, you gotta do it this way.
Yeah.
So it's like them kind of inserting themselves, like, well, we really like John Cena, let's bring him back.
Well,
and they're like, well, he doesn't really fit in here. How the fuck are we gonna bring him back?
And realistically, it's just surprising how a lot of the stuff they're bringing back is stuff that James Gunn had to do with, right? Peacemaker, Suicide Squad's coming back, a new version of them. What's interesting to me, and this is how it all ties into Frank Grillo. I know people are probably like, what the fuck did he bring up Frank Grillo?
What the fuck are they talking about?
I'm gonna pull all the pieces together now for you.
Well, he's coming back as was it Bone?
No.
Skull and Bones or whatever.
No,
Crossbones.
No, it's in Suicide Squad, the sequel that James Gunn did. We saw Rick Flag come back from the first one. He gets killed by Peacemaker in that movie, so he dead. One of the projects that was announced for the new DCU, because their idea was to basically do a Marvel, and that whether it's live action or cartoon, it's all part of the same universe. So one of the things he's doing is Creature Commandos. It is an animated series with all these wacky, very off-kilter characters. One of the people confirmed is Rick Flag Sr., who is the father of Rick Flag as we knew him in the Suicide Squad, and it will be voiced by Frank Grillo. That's why it's all tied together. And then further speculation came out that eventually there will be a live action version, and that Frank Grillo will actually play the live action version as well, which I think is weird, because I'm sure that, I forget the guy that played Rick Flag, but between him and Frank Grillo, there's maybe 8 years difference, 10 years difference at the most. I mean, if that's his daddy got busy early. Let me tell you, which is some shit that James Gunn would put in the show. Yeah, that was a huge tangent. Yes, yeah. James Gunn confirmed that Frank Grillo will be playing the live-action father of Suicide Squad's Rick Flag Jr. in Peacemaker season 2. So we will actually see Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr. in season 2 of that, plus the voice of him in Creature Commandos, the animated series. So yeah, let's see. So
we'll see his brother. Probably see Michael Rooker, maybe Dave Bautista.
Yeah, right. Scott says CQ needs a board where he has a board with all the pieces and strings linking together, doing the whole
like fucking
yes,
first like CSI
Sunny.
or some shit.
Well, no, I was thinking like that meme from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where he's got the board. It's like it's all connected, and he's Anyway, so if the animated worlds are tied to the live action, does that mean the Suicide Japanese anime that came out recently is canon? I mean, I guess so. We'll see.
I doubt it.
We'll see.
Who the fuck cares?
I mean, I just love how they're going, we're really trying to consolidate and have everything under one umbrella. I mean, except for the Batman, which is doing its own thing. And Joker, which is doing its own thing. And this other, like, don't say you're trying to consolidate everything if there's also shit all over the place.
Yeah, because they just want to make the money. They're like, we already made all this garbage and we need to make money off of it. We're fucking putting it out. Yes. Joker, they should have killed. What a stupid fucking hate that movie.
I'll be honest. I like Joaquin Phoenix as an actor. I think he's a great actor. I didn't.
It's stupid. It's a dumb take on the character. It's just stupid.
Here's the thing for me. I have a compulsion against, like, if you're going to say we're going to take this established, well-known property, but we want to kind of do our own thing with it, just fucking go do your own thing. Don't, like they've said, this is a Joker who doesn't, become the clown prince of crime. He doesn't fight a Batman because Batman's a baby practically in this shit. And Harley Quinn's going to be in this one? Yeah, but she's not going to have any of her sass. She's not going to have the high voice. She's not going to dress. Like, just do something else. Come up with your own story. If you're going to strip everything...
trying to make money off the name, which is stupid. And you confuse people because people are fucking dumb.
If you're going to strip every single piece of identifying characteristic off a character and just... Batman should come out as like, he's like, I'm a fucking fry cook and, I'm poor. Like I do taxes for a living. Like I'm an IRS auditor. Like, why stop there? Why stop there? Just keep, you know what I mean? Like fucking, I don't know. I just.
Well, it's like the same thing with Gotham. I don't know. Call it A New Hope.
I just, man, like.
I still haven't watched it or refuse to watch it.
I am a big proponent. I'm a huge proponent of, hey, give us new ideas. Give us new things. Let's new IPs. Let's try things. Let's do things. If you want to sequel something, cool. Sequel it. You want to reboot something, cool. Reboot it. But this idea of like, we're going to take a well-established character and then, we're going to strip away what they look like and what they sound like and how they usually act. But it's the character.
Everything people know and like about it, we're not gonna give it.
It's Joker, without any of the laughing or the murder or the costumes or the crimes or it's just the guy.
Fucking Batman, like that's his kind of main deal. Like
that's and this is why, in my opinion, this is why Venom the movie didn't work. This is why Kraven the Hunter won't work. This is why Carnage didn't work. This is why Morbius didn't work. This is why all those things, because it's like you're like, okay, we're gonna take this as well-known thing and just strip away all the things you love about that character and create a whole new bizarre take on the character, and then
And the people that know and read it and love those characters for years, they're not going to watch it. You only have the people that are like, oh, I think I've heard of that. Is this a Marvel movie? Let me go watch that. Like,
yeah,
and
you
it's
know,
not that many people.
it bugs me, and I know I've said this before, and I'm beating a dead horse and whatnot, but like, why is it The Last of Us does well? Why is it, early years The Walking Dead did super well? Why is it, Fallout does well? But then why does Madam Web
Game
do
of
bad?
Thrones,
Why does
yeah.
all these movies bad? Because they're not sticking with
Source material.
sticking with it. And I see our guest has joined. We'll be with you in just 5 minutes, Doug. Hang tight, buddy. So we're just finishing up our first hour of discussion here. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things that
It's like, we're gonna have the Batman, but he's not gonna dress like a bat.
yeah, he's
not
gonna
gonna
be in
fight
Spider-Man's
crime.
clothes.
Yeah, like what?
Yes. Let's see. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I just I wish I could be kind of like a fly on the wall in some of these boardrooms, these decision-making rooms, because it's like it seems so simple. It really does seem so simple. Why it could work, it should work, and yet you guys just keep messing it up. I
think it's just interference. Like, you got all these people that they're just like throwing random shit out there, and then they're like, well, that guy, he makes a lot more money and he's making my movie, so I'm gonna be like, okay, let's do that. Or they're telling me you have to do it, so they're doing it. I don't know. That should be my next Netflix documentary. Behind the scenes on all these movies that you wanted to love, but you don't.
Like where Hollywood went wrong. I'm sure there's a ton of documentaries already out there about like where Hollywood went wrong.
That's what they should do. Like, fuck Real PD. Like, I want to see, real studio exec or something. I don't know. Like, I'll come up with a clever name.
Yeah. Behind the boardroom. Last thing we'll just mention real quick before we toss it to a quick break so I can get over to our guest. For those fans of The Big Bang Theory, right? Because we were talking about sequels and reboots and all these different things. There was the prequel series, Young Sheldon, obviously about that character, and that's now gone for a number of years. That's wrapping up its series. They're now doing a sequel of the prequel, technically a spin-off sequel of the prequel, because Hollywood has no original ideas anymore. So it says here, Young Sheldon will be getting a sequel spin-off series focused on his brother Georgie and his fiance Mandy. I give up. I give up. I mean, I get it. Like, they were successful, they did good, but give us new stuff, man. Give us new stuff.
That guy was he even in the show? I didn't watch all.
He was in it a bit. I just hey Pete, how you doing? But
isn't that your guy in that cart? No, that's How I Met Your Mother.
No, yeah, you're wrong guy.
Give him some ideas.
No, he wasn't even part of the sequel series when they did How I Met Your Mother or How I Met Your Father. He wasn't even part of that. He was like, good luck.
Smart.
He handed that thing off. It was like,
what percentage are you giving me? All right.
He gave the rights. Like, go forth and conquer. That's just what happens.
No, yeah, it's I don't know. People watch it, so whatever.
It's one of those things. But man, so okay, guys, we are going to toss it to a short break, and when we come back at the top of the hour, we have the incredible Doug Stone joining us. The guy's a legend. I can't wait to talk to him. If you guys have any questions at all about Metal Gear Solid, about M.A.S.K, I mean, Google him real quick. He's in so much stuff, so much stuff. Go ahead, put all your questions in the chats, and we'll get through as much as we can. We're gonna. I got some really cool stuff we're gonna talk about, so I'm excited. And he's also going to promote. I think there's like a charity thing he does. So I actually have the website up, and it's really cool. We'll talk about it, but like you can bid on really cool autographed memorabilia from so many games and shows and properties. And if you ever wanted like a voicemail from Psycho Mantis, or something like that, where they could record the voicemail. Was it the voicemail box, right? The intro, whatever the fuck they call it, those things. Signed headshots and things like that. It's really cool. So we'll talk more about it. But for now, let's toss it to a break, and then when we come back, we'll have our good friend Doug joining us. And why is my thing acting weird? Sorry, my other camera's acting wonky. There it goes. All right, guys, we're gonna take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more. Mike, you sticking around, or you gonna take off on us?
Yeah, it's in my contract.
I love to hear it. All right, guys, we'll be back with more show right after this break.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, you there? Yeah, it is right, you. Let me ask you something, right? Where the hell do you think that you're going? Oh, would you think because the show is going to commercial that means you get to just walk away? Well, CQ asked me to pass on the little message, alright? And it says, I'll be back.
watching Pop Culture Warrior. The Force is strong. They have the high ground.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to Pop Culture Warrior. I am your host CQ. Oh man, I'm excited. I've been waiting for this one. Guys, our guest tonight has been a powerful voice in the world of voice acting. Powerful force is what I meant to say, in the world of voice acting for over 4 decades, bringing to life a multitude of iconic characters, from the sinister Psycho Mantis in the legendary Metal Gear Solid video game series to leading roles in classics 80s animated shows like M.A.S.K, where he voiced Matt Trakker. I believe it was Trakker. Doug Stone's talent has spanned generations. His extensive resume includes work on fan-favorite animes such as Ninja Scroll and Ghost in the Shell, as well as modern video games like Fire Emblem and Street Fighter. Beyond just lending his voice to characters, he's also worked as a voice director, guiding others in crafting their performances. His contributions to both Western animation and Japanese anime dubs have made him a beloved figure in the industry. With over 50 years in the business, he's voiced characters across film, television, video games, and continually adapting new formats and genres. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to have him here with us today. Please welcome to the show, everybody. Give it up for Mr. Doug Stone. Yay!
Thanks very much. I can hear the applause in my imagination.
I'm glad. It's raucous. It's deafening.
Oh,
it's deafening.
I'm waiting to die down a bit before I speak, but yeah, thank you.
Doug, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today, man. We've spent a little bit of time together. I've talked about going to M.G.S.Con, the first one, and then just recently going to M.G.S.Con 2, and just first of all, everybody there is so incredible. The voice talent, you guys are all amazing people. Watching you interact with your fans is truly something special. I can't imagine what that is for you, and we're gonna talk all about that. But first, we always like to get to know our guest a little bit more at the top of the hour. So first and foremost, what is, if you have, your military connection?
I don't have a strong military connection in that. I was born in Toronto, Canada. I moved to Los Angeles to further my career. I was acting up there and came here in '85. So I was already in my 30s, and when I moved to the States and wasn't a citizen initially, I had to get my landed immigrant status and work my way up to citizenship. By the time I got that, I was in my late 40s and arthritic. So you didn't want me out there with you in the field, because I could have got you hurt. My dad, bless his heart, who had thick glasses and flat feet, volunteered for World War II, I think 7 times before they took him, because he was determined that he had to get in there and get involved. But they kept saying, dude, you can't even see 2 feet in front of your. So he ended up spending he went from Toronto to Buffalo and served in Buffalo. He actually was in the States, although part of the Canadian Forces. But all my uncles served in World War II. In one function or another. Every man in the family volunteered. They didn't wait. They all volunteered for WW2. But that's my only real connection to the military.
I mean, to say that's a huge connection. I mean, to have, we always consider the greatest generation who fought in the world wars, and we thank them for their service, and truly humbled, because I'm a guy, and we're not going to talk about me, but I'm a guy who volunteered, after 9/11 and said, I want to be there and I want to do it. But I can't imagine volunteering at a time like World War I, World War II, when it was like the world is just on fire and you had to do something.
I have my issues with my father, but I was always very proud of him that he would not take no for an answer. He just said, I can't stay home, and I won't feel complete if I don't do my part,
That's
I'm
amazing.
sure you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. This is obviously a show we talk a lot about pop culture and movies and TV and games and toys and collectibles and all these things. What is something that you geek out about? What is your passion outside of your given industry?
Music and books. More than I'm a couple of generations late for anime. I mean, to be involved in it because I love acting, but I wasn't raised on anime. I was raised on Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny and Warner Brother cartoons as far as that stuff goes. I'm a real huge music fan. Have been since I was a teenager. It was like those teenage angst years, and suddenly I had music, and it was like I have a friend. I have something that speaks to me. That and literature. So I still have. Here in my home, I have a couple of bookcases filled with books. I belong to a book club and a CD online club where we're constantly exchanging books and music. I still do CDs because I refuse to just keep, I got rid of the vinyl. I got rid of the cassettes. I got this. Enough. I'm stopping. But my iTunes have about 14,000 songs on them of every genre and generation and language and whatever. So that's my geek stuff, I guess, is whenever I go to my post office box to pick up the mail, if there's a new CD there that, yes, or a new book that I've just exchanged, that gets me excited.
Oh, man, I love it. I love it. I mean, music is there's something the same way people can be an artist and create this beautiful thing. I think music is very much the same way in a feeling, and so yes, absolutely. Real quick, let's talk about M.G.S.Con, because that's obviously where we got to meet. And for something like Metal Gear, which, I mean, my God, it came out, 98, 99, something like that? Like, we're going on like 30 years. And for it to still be such a rabid fan base, such a passionate fan base, that you can have an entire convention dedicated to it, pretty much. What does that mean to you? How does that make you feel?
It's incredible. I mean, for me, it also goes to something I did in 85, 86, M.A.S.K, Mobile Armored Strike Command, this original series. Pre-internet, I didn't know about all the fan bases for it or for Metal Gear Solid. I was kind of blissfully unaware of it. I thought, well, it played for a couple of years, it was popular, and now everybody's moved on. When you're participating, you never know what's going to grab the public's imagination and have staying power. So for Metal Gear, when I found out, I think I went online one time and I thought, that character Psycho Mantis I did. I wonder if anybody even villains in top 10 villains in interactive games in 2022, and there's like number 5, Psycho Mantis. And so people still know about him. So I start doing more investigating. They go, favorite Doug Stone characters. Let's see, what are the favorite characters I've done that people. Who's in the top 5? Psycho Mantis. Okay. Then I found out about the Metal Gear convention. I wasn't at the very first one, I don't think, but at the last 2. And I contacted them and said, you like me to come and play too? Is it just for the other guys who kind of went on? Because they didn't treat Psycho very nicely and keep him on. They, for some reason, didn't see him as a hero, and which I saw him as, of course, because I'm playing him, so he's my guy.
Of course.
And they went, oh, yes, we definitely want you in here. And of course, as you saw, they're wonderful people. They do a great job. It's a fan run, as you may have mentioned on your show. It's run by the fans, and I guess from going to conventions, they kind of learned what works and doesn't work. Yeah. So they do a terrific job, and they make the actors feel very welcomed. It's just really nice, and all the fans are polite and nice, and yes, you're meeting people, and it's same with the M.A.S.K thing. It's very moving sometimes, because you'll meet people where maybe some work you did like Psycho and Metal Gear, it came at a time in somebody's life where it was important to them. In the M.A.S.K series, the lead, I played 8 characters, but the lead was a single dad. And I've had guys, including military veterans. There's one who's part of a fan club, and he came up to me in his 30s or 40s at that time with children. He said, I watch it with my kids, and some of these folks were raised in families with just a single mom, and they'd rush home to watch the cartoon, and Matt Trakker became kind of a father figure to him, because he was a great dad in the cartoon with a single child that he was raising, et cetera, et cetera. And you're talking to men. I mean, these are strong guys, and they're almost choking up, saying how much it meant to them to watch your work when they were kids. And it's like you start choking up, because you give it your all when you're doing the work. You want to honor it always. I always wanted Matt to be loving and strong, and honor the character that I was given to do. But you don't think that 30, 40 years later, you're going to get people walking up to you going, that meant so much to me. It was an important part of my life. And wow. I did this for my joy, but to know that it brought and continues to bring joy to so many other people, what a blessing. Just wonderful.
Oh, man. I can't even fathom, if somebody came up to me, I saw your show, Pop Culture Warrior, I'd fall down and just burst into tears. So I can only imagine what that's like for you to have so many characters so beloved by such a rabid fan base. One of the things I want to touch on too before we dive into your career is the Kitty Bungalow Charm School, which is a non-profit no-kill shelter / rescue in Los Angeles. Right. I know you're involved with them. Can you tell us a little bit about the organization and just how and why you got involved?
Well, I'll start with the second part of it. I got involved because I used to direct and cast, and I had a loop group, and I did production. I was a 7 days a week guy. Once I got in this business, and it worked, and they accepted me and said, yeah, come on in. We like you and what you do. Yeah, let me go. And I'm very work oriented. I'm very much about that. So anyway, as I started to get older, and as you may be able to tell, and slow down a little bit and say, I got to kind of take it easy now. Well, suddenly I've got time in my hands. I'm interested in animals. I like dogs and cats, but I do have pretty severe arthritis, so I can't really deal with dogs, like taking them for walks at a shelter or whatever. A big dog starts to run, I'm going to face plant on the cement. So I looked, since I had cats, I looked for a no-kill cat shelter. I found Kitty Bungalow, which was just in a backyard at the time. It was just somebody starting it in their backyard. That was a little over 12 years ago. And I got more and more involved with them as a volunteer. And what it is it's a no-kill shelter. We want to reduce the population of cats on the streets in a humane way, not by euthanizing a healthy animal, never. Instead, by spaying and neutering cats. So we'll go out and trap ferals on the street. The ones that are young or are kittens, they can usually be socialized for adoption. The ones that can't, If we trap them, we still get them a health check, and we get them spayed and neutered, and then returned to the colony where they were taken from. And we have people in place. We're working with colony feeders. There's a lot of people, bless their heart. I've even seen homeless people with shopping carts filled with food that they've made for the kitties, just to help the cats in the street, because they know what it's like to be hungry. Bless them. So we'll work with all those people to make sure the colony cats get fed, but no more having babies, no more males fighting each other. So we want to reduce the population humanely. We also do adoptions, and we have a working cat program. For the cats that are kind of in between, they're kind of, okay, they won't rip your face off, but they could never be a house cat.
They still got the Joe Pesci attitude, you know. They ain't gonna deal with you. F you, you know what I mean? But you want to feed me, I'll take it.
So for those cats, we find people who say maybe have a mattress factory, or they have a farm, or whatever else, and they have rats and mice, and we say, don't put out pesticides that'll hurt other critters as well. Take one of our working cats, feed them, take care of them, have them on your site. We get them first. They're put in something that's like a not a container, but a little place to stay until they get accustomed to the smells and the sounds and everything of where they are. Then they're released on that property and they stay, and they just become the mousers, you know, for your factory or for wherever else. And you're just responsible for feeding them, taking care of them, making sure they're medically okay and everything else, and they take care of everything else for you. So it's very cheap labor, and no pesticides and poisons involved. So we do all these different things. So there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cats. I think we're up to 800 now or something so far this year that we will do all these different things for, whether it be adopting, just getting them fixed and spayed, putting back into their colony, or getting them working cat, getting them a good job, you know, so that they're contributing to their community.
I love that. Get the cats off the streets. Get them jobs.
Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome.
We've got enough unemployment in this country. Let's get those cats working.
I love it. First, how can listeners support? How can they get involved? Where can they go to learn more about
Well, if they're local to LA, they can certainly volunteer with us. And don't get the macho attitude that it's only ladies volunteering. We've got guys volunteering as well. And, some of them are 3 times my size. Anybody can be an animal lover, and, whatever kind of animal. I don't care if you save squirrels, whatever it is, bless you. That's wonderful that you have the compassion and humanity to do that, which is what I think is a sign of real manhood. Is not just that you're strong, but that you use that strength for protection of critters, people that are in need or smaller than you or need your help. So volunteering, certainly, if they have any money to spare, if you go to online and just put in Kitty Bungalow or the Kitty Bungalow Charm School for Wayward Cats on your Google, our site will come up and you'll see all the different ways that people can help by volunteering, by making donations. What I do every year, we also have fundraisers every year. I do one every year, being in the voiceover industry. I was doing a comedy show every year during the worst years of COVID. For our anniversary, we're doing an online comedy show because I used to do stage comedy. But what I've been doing every year, we're not doing that now because COVID's kind of dying down a bit. But every year I do a voiceover one with all my good friends in voiceover, who I think you were mentioning at the top of the show, donate autographed pictures, prints. They'll do voice messages. I've got posters, and I've got Funko Pops, autographed Funko Pops from really well-known people, from anime, from interactive games, from everything you can imagine. And the voiceover stuff is fun too, that you can bid on for some of them. I've had people who've bid on either from Trakker, Psycho Mantis, or other characters, where I'll do an outgoing voiceover message for them. So you've reached so-and-so and so-and-so, but it's me in that voice. Hi, this is Trakker, and you've reached so-and-so, mask on, leave your, whatever they like. Or a birthday message. If you've got a friend or a loved one who's a big fan of a particular anime or show, and you think they'd get a kick out of getting a birthday message from somebody, one of the characters from that show in that voice, you can do that. You get to write it. We just want it to be PG, for the for all the actors. But if you want us to create it, we're happy to do it, a 15, 20, 25-second message, or you can write one. And again, as long as it's not objectionable, happy to do that too. So there's all kinds of stuff. And that'll be up, this year's will be up on September 28th on Galabid. It'll run from September 28th to October 12th.
Yeah.
We're just getting it put together right now.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at last year's, and it's incredible. The amount of stuff that you have on there, headshots, like you said, Funko Pops. I mean, some things like I'm a huge fan of the Telltale Walking Dead series. So Lee Everett signed by the voice, Coco hat. I mean, like there's just some really, really cool things. I'm excited to see what you guys do with it this year. Please, when it goes out, send us the link because I would love to share it out there. Personally, I'm going to bid on some things because there's some things that I want. As you can see, I have a huge nerd collection behind me, and I would love to add some of these really cool items, and we'll share it with Neil Ross, the voice of Green Goblin from the Spider-Man animated series. Come on, that's awesome. Oh, man, there's some really cool stuff on here. So we'll definitely share it with the audience and let them know what to get. Let's see what else. So let's start at the beginning for a second. You are originally from Canada. You mentioned that. How did you first kind of fall into voice acting? Was it a moment where you go, oh, I like this, I want to do this, or is it like a lot of stories where you kind of fall backwards into it?
Combination, but more the second, more falling into it. I was acting even as a kid doing amateur theater. Like you have to picture Canada in the early 80s and 70s. Maybe 5 people made a living in show business. It was all just theater actors could make a living in show business. And they weren't doing, in those days, they didn't have celebrity commercials. So they weren't even doing that. So I didn't even dream of having a career in the business, but just after work, going and doing a play was great. I've been working since I was 16. I left school at 16 and supporting myself, and I've done a lot of different stuff. I've worked in factories and driven cabs and made furniture in a small business that my buddy and I had, who was an American, living up in Canada. And at one point, I'm doing all this, and I get into a gig where I'm working in the computer industry, and they put up a sign saying we need somebody to do something called scratch tracks, which are temporary tracks that aren't going to be used on air. Now, bear in mind, my dad was a radio announcer in Toronto. He was a DJ on a popular rock and roll station. My younger brother ended up being a newscaster. So it's not foreign to me, the idea of this, but I have no microphone experience to speak of, but I do have acting experience. Anyway, they put up this notice, we need somebody to do scratch tracks. I think, well, it would be a break from being at my desk. So I auditioned for it. I get the gig, and suddenly I'm doing Jell-O commercials and whatever else, if I can say Bill Cosby. He was going to do the permanent one, but they get somebody else to come in because the stars don't have much time. We do it, they time it out, they change it, they tweak it, and they go, that's got it. That's the perfect 30 seconds. Thanks, Doug. Erase him, get Bill Cosby in, and he'll do it, or whomever. So I'm doing that, and then the guy in charge, I'm doing so many, says, I'm going to get you some money for this because you're doing so much of it. Money? For talking in a microphone? Wait a minute. Doug's beginning to get an idea here. Here I am doing my theater work all the time, trying to break into some on-camera work at that point, and I'm getting paid to do some voiceover. So I make a demo tape, I send it out. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I ended up getting voiceover work, doing commercials initially. So at that point, once I start to make money doing that, I'm doing theater and I get my equity card. So suddenly I'm doing professional theater. I start to get some on-camera work, straight to video films and whatever, and I'm getting some lead roles. Quit the day job. I don't care if I've lived poor before. I've been real poor when I was a young guy. So I don't care, as long as I can just pay the rent and eat. If I can do something I'm passionate about, oh yeah, man, that's worth more than money to have a satisfying day every day. Yeah, I'll do it. And I'm no stranger to hard work, so I will get my demo out to everybody in the city and everything, and I'll knock on doors. So that's what I did. And eventually, it was just the beginning of animation in Canada. I got a couple of little animation things here and there, very, not great animation stuff. The industry was just starting. And then coincidentally, I had done the lead in on-camera film playing a villain, tough little guy with a gun. I ended up getting a really good agent in Canada. And coincidentally, they were I think one of two Canadian agents who were casting for a cartoon called M.A.S.K, which was a Canadian, French, US production. I got the lead and two other characters. They said, we're recording in LA. Down to LA I go. I ended up with 8 characters. I'm about to go back home, and I asked the people in the studio and the producers of the show, do you think I'm like good enough to stay in LA and work? Because that would be kind of cool. And they said, yeah, we do. I get an LA agent. I say, fine. I'm coming down to the US of A. I'm going to be a voiceover actor in the US of A. That's a pretty big deal for a Canadian boy.
I mean,
that came and it worked out. I struggled a lot in the early years, to get known and seen and whatever, but it worked out.
I mean, and that role as Matt Trakker in M.A.S.K, I mean, to come out of the gate and really have that, I mean, that's a defining moment in a person's life, let alone a career in this kind of industry.
Yeah.
When you land, like, do you realize ahead of time, we say, hey, we're going to have you do this thing. Do you realize, like, oh, this is a game changer? Do you realize, like, this is the thing that can change everything? Or was it like, well, I'm going to try it out and see what happens?
More the latter. I mean, I felt it could help me career-wise, but I thought it would help me back in Canada. I thought, well, when I get back to Canada, because I'm not good enough to stay in the U.S. and work all these giants down here at voiceover, but when I get back to Canada, this should be a pretty big deal that I did a cartoon series down in the L.A., 65 episodes. Yeah. I go back up to Canada for a couple of months, and like, there's nothing much going on. And I keep in touch with the U.S. folks I'd met. And again, they're saying, you can probably get an agent. And I went, okay. So the game-changing part of it was, I thought it's going to be an intro to a career, maybe in the States. Maybe it'll help me get rolling. But it ended up being much more significant than I ever imagined it would be. But that's the way you do some work in this industry, and I think it must be the same in others. You do certain things, like if you make build houses for a living, you build a house and you go, this is the one. Everybody's going to come in, and nobody comes and looks at it. They look at the other house that you built down there and they go, that's the one. And suddenly you get all this work based on, so you never know. So I had no suspicion. You never know ahead of time, or even while you're working, what's going to hit and what's not going to hit. So the fact that M.A.S.K had legs is a huge shock, but I'm so grateful to it because it got me here. It got me to LA. It enabled me to make new connections and new friends, which I could then use to build a career on. So it's very significant for me. I'm still in touch. Sorry, let me turn off my phone there, sending me messages. I'm still in touch with, we've lost Brendan McCain, who lovely man who was in the series, but I'm still in touch with mostly of the cast members. So we also, became friends, so significant in that way as well.
I would imagine so. We did have a question from the chats, and it says, how can listeners, like somebody who's listening to this right now, how can they kind of dip a toe, try to get into this kind of line of work, whether it be commercials or scratch tracks, like you're saying, or voiceover work?
It's very difficult. I get asked it all the time because it's very romantic sounding. And I'm not going to lie, I love being in front of a microphone. But the rest of the time is show business. You're the product, and you're the company that sells the product at the same time. So it can be difficult if you're shy and whatever. You got to kind of put the mask on of acting that you're confident and get out there. It's not easy. And nowadays it's so much different than when I started a long time ago. And it's a whole different playing field. So I can't speak to real specifics of how to get started in it, except to say a couple of general things that I'll say to people. It's acting. It's not making funny voices. Certainly, you have to be able to alter your voices. If you could do accents and different things as well, throw your voice around and sound like a lot of different people. You can sound like Danny DeVito or whoever else you imitate. That's going to help. But it's acting. So I really recommend people go out, do some amateur theater. Go do some theater at night. It's a lot of fun. You'll meet some fun people, some really creative people, and build up your acting chops. At the same time, you want to take classes. And you want to take classes, my recommendation is you want to take classes not from people who were in the industry 30 years ago, 40 years ago. That's why even I'm still in it. And I don't want to speak to too much that I don't know about. People who were active 30, 40 years ago can teach you about acting, but they don't know how to get going in the business in the modern day. So I recommend two people to check out. There's probably long waiting lists for their classes. I'm sure there's many other people, but Steve Bloom, who I think the last time I checked was in the Guinness Book of Records for the guy who's done the most voiceovers in games, and Bob Bergen, the voice of was it Sylvester Daffy Duck? Which one does he do? Bugs Bunny. I forgot which one he does now.
I'd have to double check.
He's one of those Warner Brother guys,
Right.
and I forgot which one he's doing. He took over for Mel Blanc, but he really knows the business too. He's also serves in the union. He does work for SAG as well. So they both know the business side of it, as well as how to use your vocal skills if that's what you have, and you're able to change your voice and do different things. They can help you hone that down to what you do well, and also talk to you about the business side of this. You need demo tapes, or I guess maybe it's just online demos now, that you've got to get out to agents and to companies. You've got to learn how to dub. Dubbing for anime is not easy for everybody. It's very disciplined. It's almost mathematical in a sense, because there's existing animation that you're timing your performance to. So if they take a pause and then go on, you as the actor have to justify that pause. Why did they take it? So if the line is, I'm going to go to Chicago and I'm going to get some hot dogs there, but they go, I'm going to go to Chicago and get some hot dogs there. You can't make it sound stilted. I'm going to go to Chicago and get some hot dogs there. So you have to find a way to tie it in together. Those pauses sound natural. So there's a lot of different things to learn. Mic technique, how to use the microphone properly. There's a lot to it.
Oh yeah,
And then
absolutely.
And the fact that everybody's fallen in love. When I got started, at least there was a lot of competition, but not like now.
Right.
Because of the advent of anime and interactive games, the fan base goes, that looks like fun, which I get, of course. I was listening to Mel Blanc going, that's amazing. That sounds like fun. But there's so many people trying to get in that it's very difficult. You don't want to just quit your day job and jump in cold. You got to work your way up and see how you do at every level, and to find out, do you have what it takes to make it at the professional level?
Oh, that's so true. I love so many things you said too. I'm sure improv classes probably helps a lot in the moment, the character creation, all these things.
I studied at Second City and I studied theater sports. Thank you for mentioning improv. I made my living doing improv and sketch work for a while on stage back in Canada, and did improv down in LA too. Improv is very important because it's not just anime. There's lots of things. Yesterday I was just looping on a film. Looping is providing voices for TV shows and films. I had a group that did all the Hercules and Xena shows, over 220 shows, that we did all of those. You have to be able to not only do voice work, but you have to be able to improvise. When I'm doing, I did Chicago Hope, ER, lots of police shows, medical shows. You have to have the research and you have to have the improv ability to do all that kind of work as well, because there's a lot of things to make your living at doing voiceover. Anime work is one of the lowest paying. Although everybody loves it, it's one of the lowest paying SAG contracts. So you have to do other things as well if you intend to make a living at it.
Yeah. I'm sure that's very good information for a lot of people out there, because they go, oh, like there's new animes popping up out of the woodwork every 5 minutes. And there's got to be lots of jobs. But if that's I don't want to say low hanging fruit. I mean, no insult. I just mean that they're not paying what they should be paying the fine actors that are doing the work. And I love that you said, you know, it's the business, it's show business. One of my favorite quotes, I had an actor on here and he was talking, he goes, you know, you don't get paid for the work you get. You get paid for all the auditions you didn't get. Like when you get booked on a gig, that money you're getting is for all the failed auditions. It's all the tireless work to get there. And I love that.
You better be okay with rejection and not take it. I don't. It rolls off my shoulders, thank goodness, and always has from the time I was doing stage work. But you can't internalize all that. But yeah, you're auditioning. I'm kind of at a point. I don't work as much now, but I'm kind of at a point where I don't have to audition as much. People just, you know, I'll just get hired. Know me, but certainly those early years, everything's going to be auditions because nobody knows you. And yeah, you're going to be, you know, maybe 1 in 100, maybe 1 in 50. I don't know, 1 in 20. That would be good. 1 in 20, if you wouldn't get that many. So you're just sitting there knocking it out at home or at the studio that you've driven to, hoping to get hired. As you say, yeah, the payoff is when you get paid for the job. But all those hours and all that mileage, that was that was to get you there.
That's exactly right. Let's talk about one of your most iconic roles, Psycho Mantis, which to this day, I mean, I was a kid when I played it, but it still haunts me. Like that's a character it's a villain that stays with you well after the fact. What was it like, you know, when you're first, you booked the role, you know, okay, you're looking at the lines, you're looking at the character description. Like, did you see artwork for him ahead of time? Like, how do they get you ready for the role?
I don't remember everything about it because it was a while back, but I had the beginnings of the voice were what got me the role. So I did see a picture of him and you know some description. And to my mind, when I looked at it, I thought this is very different than what I've seen before, and very different than the standard villains twisting their mustaches or whatever. This is guy's really out there. So I thought, let me just for the heck of it, I want to put something down, and this is good for generally for auditioning. If they just to go off for a sec, if they say we'll accept 2 or 3 takes for your audition, go ahead and give them a standard one that you think would work, and then go off the rails for your second or third. Go way out there because they may go, oh wow, nobody did anything like that's really cool. That's what happened with Psycho, is that I just went off the rails. I gave him a Germanic Russian combination accent, the heavy voice, and of course they did filter it. I just went for it. I just said, I'm going to go for something that's really crazy. That's what I auditioned, and they went, yeah, that's off the rails. We like it. That works for this crazy character. And of course, once I went in, you know, we had to, you know, change this, tweak that, do this, do that. The director is there. I've directed as well. The director is there to give you that guidance. You don't always get the full script for things that you do. For anime, you certainly generally don't see the full script, just your lines. But for original stuff or for games, sometimes you get the whole script. For him, I don't think I did. I think I just got the scenes he was in. So I had a general idea, and then the director gives you, you know, more pointed direction on where to go with him. And the one thing I do remember about the sessions that I liked, it was exhausting, but I liked that I was told, go further, go for it, crazier, nuttier, eat more evil. It's like, yeah, okay, I like that. You know, I don't mind pulling back. I mean, sometimes, like if you're doing dubbing for live action movies, you have to keep it very real and very down and very human, because you're not selling a cartoon character. You're trying to be real. But when you get the chance to, you know, everybody likes to be a ham. When you get a chance to really go big with somebody or really intense, I'll eat that up. So Psycho was fun, exhausting, but fun.
I was gonna say, do you remember, like, because it's I mean, it's a muffled character and whatnot. Was that all post work, or did like they give you something to kind of muffle your voice as you were doing it?
As I recall, it was all post. I have done ones where I put a coffee cup, like a styrofoam coffee cup, over my face. I've done TV shows where I actually had a walkie-talkie. I used to own a walkie-talkie to bring for police procedure shows or whatever, and we'd use those. And sometimes, as I say, you do that. I've done voices in a empty garbage can to help give some of the sound of echo and tin. But in Psycho's case, as I recall, I was straight to Mike, and I think they filtered it later,
right,
as best I can recall.
What is it? I'm just, from your perspective, obviously having voiced the character, talked about it, I'm sure, ad nauseum at this point, but what is it about that character that you think has struck such a chord with gamers, with people, with that, this isn't a character that was in the sequel and then the sequel and the spin-off sequel, and where we've seen other characters. He was there, and it's just this shadow still lingers over us of Psycho Mantis. What is it about that character you think that resonated?
To me, there's a couple of things. One is, of course, out of my control, but was amazing, was the fact that put your controller on the floor,
Right.
You're a Transylvanian, don't you?
That whole thing was so different. I mean, when they were explaining to me, I'm going, they can really do that? Oh, it's their money. I don't think you can do that. And then it turns out you actually could. Wow. So I think that blew people's minds. When people do come up to me at conventions, etc., that's one thing they'll mention. I was 8 years old and I put my controller down there. Wow. So it was very groundbreaking in that way. I like to flatter myself about the performance aspect, that I tried to make him not one-dimensional, a one-dimensional bad guy. I tried to, when I read his description and the lines, I thought, this guy's wounded. This guy's got angst. He's angry for reasons. I don't know all of his, they didn't tell me all of his past. All I could tell was from the lines I was reading, I thought, this man has got issues that go beyond him being angry at the people he's interacting with. They go way back, the stuff that's in him. So I want to play that. I want his vulnerability to show as well. Because again, when you're playing any character, you have to find some reason to be sympathetic to them. You're inhabiting them. And in their minds, they're the heroes. This is their story. It doesn't matter if I do an anime and I'm the butler who comes in with tea, then I have to think to myself, well, it's an anime about a butler. They're only showing me in the one scene, but I'm a very important character because I want to embody him fully. I want to believe in him, and here is your tea, sir. Like, I want him to have a backstory and a life of his own, so it's more believable and has more meat when you're listening to it as a fan. So with Psycho, it was all there to be gotten, to inhabit him that way. So I tried to do that, excuse me, in the performance, and I hope that's part of it.
Hey, yeah, and I'm like, you said, like, I like to think this guy had a bad. The way he dressed, he's obviously been through some sort of trauma. I mean, it's very bondage heavy, it's awakened a lot of things in a lot of people, I'm sure.
Yeah. He got locked in the S&M dungeon and he couldn't get out or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's some trauma. There's some
deep or something. I forget, but yeah.
There's some deep trauma in there. You have voiced, I mean, I took a look at your list, man, and it is extensive and exhaustive. You've done so much over your career. Anime characters from Ninja Scroll, Ghost in the Shell. I mean, that's a huge. That's one of the ones a lot of people harken back to. In your opinion, how does working on anime, specifically, and dubs and non-dubs, but how does that versus other roles? Because I'm assuming there's a lot behind the scenes that we don't get to see. That's different.
Sure. And I should mention too that the IMDb has, and if you look at the bottom at crew and stuff, they've got a bunch of my dubbing credit. I don't know why it's there. Like it's voiceover credits. So and the IMDb doesn't list everything that you do because it only knows what you're credited for.
Right.
I've done over 1,000 television shows and films that I've supplied voices for, which the IMDb only knows a little bit about. So and radio commercials and stuff, they don't credit you, so it doesn't know about all that. And you're quite right. All of them are slightly different in the technical aspects and also what you as a performer have to bring to them, how you approach them. Obviously, a radio commercial is very different than an anime. a radio commercial, I get my script and it says 30 seconds. I have to, so I read it down and it comes out at 32. And I'm on line, say, recording, and they say, Doug, got to cut 2 seconds. You have to have an internal clock. So you look at the script again and go, no, I can speed it up there. I can cheat the smaller breath there. And then without looking at a watch, just from here, bring it in again and say, how did it do? And they said 29 and a half. Got it. Okay. You need an internal clock. So that's a different skill set. For dubbing for anime, again, same as I do a lot of Netflix live action stuff, it's following the lip movements and the pauses and whatnot. And you're generally doing it alone. You in front of the mic, engineer and director in the booth. If you're doing animation like M.A.S.K or other shows, what's really fun about it, and same with looping for TV shows and films, you're in a group situation with a lot of other actors. I had a lot of fun yesterday because I don't know if you know people like Wendy Lee, who's a very well-known voiceover actress and director, and she happened to be on the looping job with me yesterday. I've known her since the 80s, so you get to see people and have fun. And if it's original animation, you're playing off each other, and that's a lot of fun. So it's like a play. You rehearse it, you go through the whole half hour, which usually it's like 22 minutes because commercial breaks, but you go through the whole script. The director gives you notes. They may stop you while you're working with some notes, but then the real notes come after you've done a full run through. And they'll give you notes on what they want you to emphasize, change your character a bit here, do this, do that. Then into the recording session, take your little break and record. And you're, usually with people who are very creative and fun. So there is a certain amount of joking, not while you're recording, but there's, fun beforehand and after, just joking around with everybody. So that's kind of my favorite thing because it is fun to interact with everybody else. But they're all slightly differing skills coming from the same place, voiceover and acting, but very different in the technical aspects that you have to master to do them. And again, if you want to make a living, you want to master as many of them as you can. And
Jack of all trades. Yeah.
Yeah. And in my case, I branched into adapting scripts, anime scripts from foreign languages into anime or live action. Like I had a client, Golden Harvest Pictures. I was dubbing the first early Jackie Chan pictures when they were first coming to the U.S. in the early 90s. Yeah. Before he did films here, we were dubbing those into English. So, you're looking at those mouth movements going, man, what could he possibly be saying in English that's going to fit that? Because a lot of Mandarin and Cantonese, the lips don't touch. So you've got to just go with, that's going to have to be an MB or a V because it's as close as I'm going to get to a full closure. So again, if you can script write, if you can direct, if whatever you get involved in, show business.
People don't realize there's a lot. I mean, that also means there's a lot of opportunities out there because there's a lot of different jobs. But learning about them, that's. And we're running short on time, so I want to make sure we get a couple more of these in. You've also voiced characters in major video games like Street Fighter and Fire Emblem. Because you've been involved for such a long time, I'm curious from your perspective, how has video game voice acting evolved since you first started, right? Since going back to those early games to more recently?
Well, the first games, sorry, my ride's coming. You can hear the siren in the background. They caught me. It was bound to happen eventually. Pardon the siren. Some of the first video games I did were so basic. I was the announcer going, hey, kids, move the controller to the left and press that button and make Hercules make a muscle. Good job. So it was that primal. I have stuff in the other room there where they were kind enough to give them, where they were discs that you put in your computer, to play the game. So I go back to those early days. But I guess the changes that I've seen would be that there are subtler roles now in some games. Like you mentioned Fire Emblem. The writing in that and the backstories, I feel the characters have evolved to having more backstory, more angst, more more character development, which I welcome. Whereas some of the early games, it was really just sword and sorcery, or Doug's character is now fighting the dragon. Take that, evil dragon! I've got him, boys. Those were 90% of my lines were just let's get them, charge, etc., etc. It was all very action oriented, which is cool and fun to play, but not as challenging for me as an actor. I like the challenge. I'd say some of the more modern games, it's more fun for me when I get stuff where I have a character who has disagreements with his daughter, and the king doesn't like him anymore, and there's so and so, and he doesn't know which side to be on, and also he lost his wife in the war. I got all this stuff going on, so when I deliver my lines, I've got to impart all of that history in what I'm saying. And that's a lot more challenging and a lot more fun for me as an actor. Hopefully, audiences appreciate it as well. That in some of the games, there's more subtlety to the characters, more depth.
I mean, I'm a pretty hardcore gamer myself, and I can attest that, like, man, the last 10, 15 years, like, you're getting more and more invested in these characters, because you're like, oh my God, he's got a life. He pays bills. He's got alimony, like, he's got a life.
I directed some of the early Dynasty Warriors stuff, and it was great and a lot of fun, and a lot of history involved in it. But it was like 90% of it fighting. So I've seen the changes as time goes on.
It's got to be a lot of grunting and moaning and that's.
I don't do as many games anymore because I don't have the capacity anymore. I'm burnt out with all that fight stuff. I can't do a full day of screaming and yelling and slaying dragons anymore. I leave that to the young actors.
Oh man, I see these guys, like the Dragon Ball, they're just for like half an hour. You're like, man, how do you do that? That seems exhausting.
Another skill you have to learn is how to yell all day long and not burn out. So it also helps. It's another thing to add. I'm not a singer at all. I can't sing on key, but I took singing lessons to try to learn how to use my diaphragm more and how to open my throat and relax it when I'm yelling and being very loud. So there are things you can learn to help yourself.
There you go. Tips from the master. I'm curious, with such a long career that you've had, I mean, playing such a range and diverse characters across many mediums, is there any characters or what are the characters that kind of have left a lasting impression, right, on you personally, like that you still think about, or you feel like that character's maybe still there, it still rattles around there once in a while?
Not too many of them rattle around. I've got enough voices in my head that I brought to the game myself. I don't even need this industry. Right. Believe me. Doug is just sitting here talking to himself all day long, or to the cats, who surprisingly haven't come in yet. Usually when I'm doing an interview like this or a long audition, they'll come in thinking, oh, Dad's talking to us. Better get up on his lap, and their tail will go by while I'm doing the interview. Certainly Psycho. I think it's the ones that mean a lot to fans end up sticking with me, like Matt Trakker and the gang from M.A.S.K, like Psycho Mantis. And I'm going to get the title wrong. If it was Rura or Kill la Kill, there was a guy I played who also had a gas mask, and I can't remember which one he was in, but he was wacko doodle, man. I mean, he stole a body, he stole the head from a body or whatever. It was one of those two shows, I think. And I can't remember his name, but I think about him once in a while because he was fun. I like the wackos, I like the grandfather loving types. And I like the wackos. There's one that you may not have heard of. I did an original animation series called Thunder in the House of Magic. It was a film. And I played an old Bostonian magician who had a great castle filled with his inventions. He was the most loving, sweet character I've ever played in my life. He was a retired, wealthy magician with this magical house where all his creations that he made, of course, could speak. Cartoon, and he adopts a cast-off cat. This is after I started at Kitty Bungalow. This is about 12 years ago that I did this, so it spoke to my heart. And I pick him up, and I don't know what I'm going to call him, the Thunder Cray. I'll call you Thunder, and on it goes. But he would, on his spare time, go to hospitals to entertain children with magic shows. He's the sweetest guy in the world. So he's kind of with me. I just loved that guy so much. He was just so kind. So you stand in front of the mic and I have to picture. I like to picture the audience in front of me. For those kind of things, I picture children, like I'm telling a story to children and I'm watching their reaction. So I have to really reach in my heart to speak to them because I want them to react from their hearts. So with him, I really felt like this very loving grandfather character who was speaking to little children. In fact, I got to tell you, I haven't done it yet, but I am thinking of with my my surrogate daughter Ginny. I may start Uncle Doug's story time on YouTube before the end of the year. Since I've got time because I'm not working as much, I may start doing a story time thing just for free, just to put out there. Mainly, I wanted to go to where there's single moms and children who've had to flee maybe abuse, and they're in a shelter or whatever, or children who are home alone or don't have a dad figure or a grandfather figure. Just to read them stories and do a little comedy and have some puppets and whatever else, and just put that out there for fun, just to kind of try to reach to the children and say, this is for you. This is from the heart. This isn't for money. This is just for you, your Uncle Doug or your Grandpa Doug, telling you stories.
No,
so
beautiful.
I did that kind of stuff. Really gets me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Please do. If there's if we can help you make that happen, I'd love to help you make it happen because that's wonderful, and I think more people need to do things like that. One last question before we let you go. We'll speed round question. What, if you can, off the top of your head, what has been the most challenging role that you've taken on, whether it be from like a technical standpoint or maybe an emotional standpoint, but just what was the most difficult role you've had to do?
That's a tough one because a lot of them are, I mean, some are, it's all about, oh my God, I couldn't talk afterward. So it wasn't that the challenge was the acting. The challenge was I had to scream all day long. I'll tell you a brief story. This stays with me because it was challenging. I do a lot of accent work, and I used to do more of it at the beginning of my career. Now they generally just want to hire people who are that ethnicity or that sexual orientation or whatever else. I'm a straight male, but I played gay guys, but now they just want gay guys to play gay guys, so fine. But one day I got a call for a looping job, and they said, Gary Oldman, very famous actor, has directed a film, and he wants to do the looping. So looping is all the voices that aren't the principals are done by a small group of actors. Extras don't speak, or else they'd have to pay them a lot of money. So we come in and we're a million different people, either matching their voices or in the background improvising. So they said, Gary Oldman, it's a film that takes place in working class Britain, and he wants working class British actors. I said, well, I do that accent, but I'm not a working class British actor. They said, yeah, but we can't get enough of them who are technically adept. We found 4 guys. They're all working class Brits, right? But they've only done like 1 or 2 jobs in front of a microphone, so they don't know what they're doing. So we want you and this gentleman, Randy, to come in and do the job. But Gary can't know that you're not British. I don't want to do it. He's going to be there? Oh, he'll be on the floor with you. He's going to direct the whole session for 8 hours. So for 8 hours, I can't break accent. I can't let him know I'm originally from Canada, nothing. My dad's from Scotland, and I have relatives in England. I'm familiar with the accents, but they go, no, you can't break character. And I was kind of blackmailed into doing it. I didn't want to do it. So we talked to the 4 British guys who are nervous. We get there early, and we say, we don't know the soccer teams, and we don't know the local bars. We can do the accents, but you guys have to keep them entertained. You've got to do the interacting. We're going to act shy. But when all the tough stuff comes up, like somebody on camera who's got to be voice matched, we'll do it. Me and Randy will do it. But you've got to talk to him. So he comes in, oh, guys, how you doing? Oh, nice to meet you. Right, we're really shy. It's Gary Oldman. I don't know what to say. So the whole day goes like he's kind of puzzled, but he gets it. He's sensitive guy. He gets it. These 2 guys seem shyer. So he's talking to the other guys, and sure enough, it's about the beer and the cider and the footy team, soccer, and we're going, thank God he gets it not to talk to us. And then the day progresses, and suddenly there's a difficult voice match. And they go, Doug? Yeah, I'll go. And I go back, what? The shy guy did it? And then Randy gets up and he nails one. He goes, so he starts to talk to us, and we go, oh, heads down. So we don't know what to say. And, so that's how we had to do the whole day, including at lunch. 8 hours. I could not break accent. I could not for 1 second let Mr. Oldman know that I wasn't from Great Britain and I wasn't working class Brit who was trying his hand at acting, et cetera, et cetera. And I think to this day he doesn't know that he had 2 ringers on the show. So that was a tough, long day.
Wow. That's an incredible. Well, first of all, we're gonna clip this and tag Gary Oldman because he's gonna learn about he's gonna learn about it now.
Take him over to the house. Lay one on me. Someday I hope to meet him, and I'll tell him the story if I ever do get to meet him.
Oh man, like not only my mind's spinning because like not only is that a challenge to do, but then it's like you have the opportunity to get to hang out with Gary Oldman and converse with him and chat with him, but I gotta play the character, and that's tough.
Yeah, I would have loved it because he's an amazing actor. But no, it didn't really get to interact with him much other than, hello, Mr. Oldman. Yes, sir. I can do that. Yeah, that's about it, right? Yeah.
Oh, man. Doug, hey, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you tonight. Is there... I know some people do the social media, some people don't do the social media. Is there any social media you want to put out there? Let people follow you, interact with you?
I'm not big on social. My daughter put me on Instagram about a year and a half ago. So now I'm on Instagram with all the kids. I only post there occasionally. I'm not on there a lot. She kind of handles that Instagram account for me. That's about it. I'm on Facebook, but I don't post about work a lot there. So I don't tend to friend fans on Facebook. It's mainly folks that I know in real life or folks that are involved in animal rescue. A lot of my postings are about animal rescue stuff, either about Kitty Bungalow or supporting other friends. As I say, I don't care what you rescue. My friends rescue all kinds of animals, and I try to offer support in whatever they're doing, whatever charitable stuff they're doing that is helpful. So it's really just Instagram, I guess, that people can find me on and follow me on. And I post there a couple times a week.
Awesome.
And that's about it. I'm not promoting myself much anymore because I'm kind of resting on my laurels and just floating through the last quarter of my career.
You've earned it, man. You've earned it. You've put in the work. You've put in the hours. You've put in the work. You've earned it. I can't thank you enough for coming on tonight and talking with us. Everybody was super entertained just listening to you to tell these amazing stories. You are a friend of the show and a friend of mine forever. Anytime you want to come back, tell more stories, promote anything, like I said, do send us the link. I'd love to post the link and share it out there so people can bid on these incredible items while also raising money for such an incredible charity. Honestly, I can't thank you enough. You are truly an amazing guy. You are this way on camera and just as much off camera. It was a pleasure getting to spend a couple days with you at the 2 different MGS cons, and hopefully we'll see you at the next one. I'm sure they'll do a 3 and you'll be there.
I plan to, knock on wood, health holds up and everything else. I will be there. Yeah.
Outstanding. I will give you the last few seconds here if you would like to say goodbye to the audience, and then we'll toss it to a break.
Who should say goodbye to them? Sean Connery. What the hell? I haven't said Sean yet. I'm sure he's passed away. I did his voice for Power Rangers. I believe it was Guy. One of the monsters. Oh, here's a kitty. One of the monsters on Power Rangers, actually, you will find has a voice that sounds reminiscent of Sean Connery. That was just us goofing around in the studio, and they decided to keep it. So, thank you, everybody, for listening, from all the different people who lodged their homes in my head and in my voice. And thank you for your service, and thank you for listening. And you stay healthy, be good to each other.
Outstanding. This has been the incredible Doug Stone, everybody. Go check out his work. Man, I'm so appreciative. Guys, we'll be back with more show right after this.
listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, you there? Yeah, it is right, you. Let me ask you something, alright? Where the hell do you think that you're going? Oh, would you think because the show is going to commercial that means you get to just walk away? Well, CQ asked me to pass on the little message, alright? And it says, I'll be back.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. Ah, God bless him. I love Doug Stone. He's the nicest guy. Let's bring back Mad Mike. How awesome is Doug Stone? Isn't he just the nicest guy?
Yes.
I don't know how we get so lucky to just get the nicest people, the most humble people. I mean,
it's the only people that would do a show for free.
This is the only people that would say yes to doing this. You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
We offer you nothing
Yes.
other than the fact that you are nice.
I can almost guarantee this will hurt your career coming on this show.
No, it couldn't get any worse.
Your star meter will go down having come on this show. No, it's been, man, I've been very blessed to be put in positions where I get to meet a lot of these people that are just, I don't know how to explain it. Through a lot of the charity work I do and through a lot of the random stuff that I do, I get into rooms with, celebrities, voice artists, actors, directors, whatever. And they're people that are usually there also donating their time, which means that they're generally good people, right? That they're people that care, that they're people that give of themselves. A couple of them I meet at conventions, which, hey, it's a business. They're trying to, make ends meet and all those things. So that's fine too. But yeah, I just I so many people that have just been so kind, because there are there are quite a
A
few
lot of
people
people that aren't so kind.
there are a lot of them that
Have
will just
quite the
say no.
list.
Like, I don't know what's worse. Are the people that say no right to your face, or is it the people that say yes with no intention
Never.
whatsoever of ever
Yeah,
coming on?
I think that's definitely worse.
I feel like
That's
that's worse. It's
just
the
huge. Yeah,
tease.
just say no. But like, no, maybe if you
Not
get
interested.
bigger
Yeah, not
or
interested.
something, like when they're
It's
like, yeah, we'll be on, and then it's like you
I'd
don't hear
love to
anything.
do
That's
it.
like just the
Yeah.
biggest fuck you there is. Manu Bennett
Not Manu Bennett.
calling
No.
you out.
No, look. I said it before, I'll say it again. Kimiko Glenn. She's Orange is the New Black and the voice of Penny Parker and Spider-Man universe thing. Right to my face was like, no thanks. And I'm like, you know what? At first I was upset about it. And then I went, that's probably the most honest person in Hollywood. She's like, no, this doesn't seem like something I'd want to do. And just, I mean, easily could have been like, oh, contact my agent and contact the thing and then do the thing and jump through all the hoops and not have any intention to do it. So I gotta respect that.
It's always just just know whether you want to do it and just fucking be a man or a woman or a man woman or a woman man.
Either one.
I don't know what you are these days, and just say it. Like,
be a color, be a shape,
say you don't
whatever
want
it
to
is.
fucking do it if you don't want to do it. Don't lead me on.
Yes. Don't be a cock tease, man. That's the worst. A mic tease.
Yeah.
No, we've been so fortunate to really have good opportunities and like we were just at that other convention and like I gotta reach out to Casper Van Dyne. Dean. God, I always say that wrong. I always say that wrong.
Van Dien.
That's why he's
not fucking come on the show. You can't pronounce his name.
I always say it wrong.
Mr. Van Dyne, you coming on? He's like, fuck when you fucking pronounce my name right.
There's some cutting room footage of me mispronouncing his name. That's a whole other thing. But no, like Casper Van Dyne. Dean.
Jesus.
God, why do I keep saying it?
I don't know. It's like in your
it's
on the prompter.
Jesus Christ.
Put it on the prompter, he's gonna read it.
Dean. Casper Van Dien.
I think he's at one of the cons I'm going to.
Yeah, well, he was at the one we went to, and he was very nice, really cool dude. It's hilarious that he was talking to us about that he plays. So he's famous for being Rico in Starship Troopers, and he did the voice for the video game that just came out. And he goes, I think I had more lines in the video game than I did in the movie. But then he's like, he actually goes online and plays with guys and he fucks with them because he starts doing the voice. And they're like, holy shit, man, you sound just like the guy. He's like, I am the fucking guy. But it was so cool. And Nemo was there with me, and Nemo was like, I do a show where I play video games with guys. And he's like, fuck it, man, let me know. I'll do it. And he's like, we're like, fuck it, let's go. So anyway, I got to reach out to him and do that. But anywho, man, what a good show. Great show. Good show. Best show.
Okay,
Best show.
Calm down.
Best show ever.
I'm going to bring a better show. I promise you. It'll be way better.
There's never been a better show than the show that I have.
We have other shows, other news.
Shows. There's no shows. No shows. Real quick, let's see. Upcoming episodes. Who do we have? We have next week. Ooh, I got to reach out to them, make sure we're good. Next week, Kelly Schumann is going to be on the show. She was in Superstore and a couple other shows. Big actress, just starting out her career, really. I mean, really, she's got nowhere but up to go. And then I had anyway.
Other guests that
There's
you
other
forgot?
people. Yeah, no, there's other people. I forgot that I have to put them in the calendar. I have to put them in the
Forgot
calendar.
to prep for a show to let people know what's coming.
Oh man,
Live
yeah.
start now, ladies and gentlemen. It's worked for so long. You get 1 week's notice. That's it.
I typically prep for a show about 30 minutes before airtime. That's typically when I'm prepping.
It's on the internet. You can look it up.
What are you gonna do? What do you guys want? You want your money back? I'll give you your money back for watching this show.
I do.
Money back guarantee.
Please do.
Oh man. CQ needs more ginkgo biloba.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's magnesium, some vitamin D, and a bunch of other stuff.
Sunlight.
Sunlight. Listen.
Everything.
Listen, I only look this because I look pale in your camera, not in the show camera.
I watched it on Facebook and I was like, God damn, that shit's brighter. How to turn down my brightness
to make me look tanner. They make you look sickly though. You look sickly. You're yellow.
Got a Donald Trump filter. Why is he orange?
Why is he orange?
Come back next week, orange. I'm like, who is this color? What are you talking about? Natural.
Natural is
like
tan.
High C.
Oh God. All right, let's take a look around what we got at the station, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Sundays, the Sports Bar. WTF Nation Radio presents the Sports Bar. That's your. It's football season, baby. Let's go. We got our draft coming up. I think for all of you out there that maybe likes fantasy football, we are doing a WTF Nation Radio Listeners League. Keep an eye out. I don't know exactly when it's happening, but it's soon. It's soonish. I'll put out the information when it gets announced. I'll share it on the socials. So if anybody wants to participate, I'll be in it. Mad Mike, I think you're gonna be in it. You're gonna be in it this year.
Always. Any chance I get to beat you at something, I'm there.
Never happens. So that's Sundays.
Last place last year, so
Mondays.
Only going up.
Mondays, the Monday edition with Ice and Massey. That's your news, commentary, discussion about all the things happening around the world. Tuesdays, right here in this box, Pop Culture Warrior, CQ, and your, Marine with the Mandible, Mad Mike. Dude, that's an enunciation for you right there. The Marine with the Mandible, Mad Mike. I like that. Wednesdays, Smoke Pit, Radar, TZ. You know it. You love them. It's a good show. Thursdays, Sergeant Time, Ice, and Spanky. That's all your military news and whatnots. And then the newest additions to the WTF Nation Radio family is your Friday/Sunday shows of FTX every other week, which is this week. FTX playing games. Saturdays, weekend co-ops with your guy Nemo. This week on FTX, I think
Hangman or Tic-Tac-Toe.
Strip Tic-Tac-Toe. This is what we're gonna strip Hangman, but you have to really. Anyways, I was gonna say something that's gonna get me banned. Oh God, I almost said something that would have really got me in trouble. I think we're playing Assassin's Creed Brotherhood of Venice, which is a 4-player co-op Assassin's Creed board game, which is it's bro, the pamphlet it came with, like the fucking instruction book, was like 60 pages. It's crazy.
I was gonna say, how much time do you spend learning how to fucking play these games?
It takes a minute.
I put more time into that than this show. That's for sure.
That's for sure. But it's cool, man. It's cool. I'm interested to see how it works out because it's cooperative and working in missions and it's not a board game in the sense that there's a board, but they're tiles. They're double-sided tiles, and so each mission, the map changes. So there's rooftops and courtyards and bell towers and all these things, and yeah. So I'm interested to see
a couple other games that do that too.
Yeah, it's very similar to the zombie game we were playing. The Marvel zombie game is very similar to that. It's just instead of zombies, you're assassins and you have weapons and things like that.
And a creed.
And a creed. There's an assassin and there's a creed. There's a brotherhood. But
Not
we're looking
Rocky. Slogan.
Anubis says he stayed under the umbrella during vacation. Listen, guys, listen.
He stayed in the hotel room. Doesn't go in the sun.
First of all,
explode. It's like a vampire.
Of all, I did not. But the problem, I was outside most of the time. The problem was I was underwater scuba diving, not a lot of sunlight at 120 feet underwater. So, yeah. And then even when you come out, like you're head to toe in scuba gear and shit. So, like,
and use SPF 1000.
You know what? Real talk. I put zero sunscreen on when I was on vacation. Turks and Caicos, not once did I put, specifically because I was like, you know what? At least I'll get some sun, and did not get any sun.
I don't think your body just gave up. It doesn't know what to
It
have
doesn't
to
absorb
absorb it
sunlight.
anymore. It just automatically repels
I'm
it.
so white that I'm reflective. The sun just bounces off.
I know. I've been in the sun with you. It's very hurtful.
You like if I'm sitting on your right, like your left side gets more sun because it bounces off me and hits you.
Like, what happened? I thought you guys were going to a Comic-Con. Like, yeah, I was. Look directly at CQ. Like, oh my God, your whole face is burnt.
Why is Mad Mike darker than you? Because he's in Florida.
Because I go outside
He's
and
the
I do
sunlight
stuff.
penetrates his domicile. The sun is so strong it goes through the walls, and he gets a tan while sitting inside. That's why. Not
No,
fair.
Go outside.
Anyway,
go outside all the time. What you would call an outdoorsman.
I'm a bit. I smell like rich mahogany. All right, you can tell it's way past our bedtime. We're getting delirious. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you've had as much fun as I have, or half as much fun as I have. Shit, it's been a good night. We will be bringing
we
you.
don't give a shit.
If you didn't, we really couldn't care less.
Sorry about it.
This is Mad Mike's a bad influence, man. He's a bad influence. I'm usually much nicer. Whenever he's around, he's bad. You're bad, Mad Mike. I'm gonna put you. You know what? That's it. You're gone. Bye. I just took you off the screen. You're bad. You're bad, boy. All right, guys. I'm kidding. With that, we've reached the end of this great episode, and stay tuned for lots more show. Oh man, I got a dent in that. Fuck. Anyway, sorry, I got a frame.
Jesus Christ. All right. Have fun. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
Tune in next week.
Yeah, sorry. Somebody just Keith, I see you there, but for whatever reason, my Facebook comments weren't coming through. So it was it's a whole thing. I'm gonna have to fix it later. Like I'm only getting like YouTube comments and a bunch of other things. It's acting up. So sorry. Anybody that was watching on Facebook, if I didn't read your comments, I'm sorry. I'll fix it. I'll have it up next week. It just shit, things and shit. It happens.
Always something.
You get credit. You get credit for being here. Even if I didn't read your comment, you get credit for being here. There's a star next to your name in my ledger. And I'll go back. I will go back, read all the comments and comment to them till you see that I see that I saw. So you see that I see that you saw that I saw what you saw that I said. So
I don't think they need to be babied. You did them justice. Now you're over promising and you're not going to deliver, just like certain celebrities we try to get on here.
Yeah. See,
just tell them you're not going to freaking comment.
It was Keith. He said I was feeling really lonely and sad over there.
I know. I was watching in there and he was the only one writing, and I was like, should I write in here too? And I was like, nah, I'm just gonna see where this goes.
Nah, fuck that guy. Oh, Keith, I love you, dude, man. I really do. I appreciate you, man. Sorry. I will be better. I will be better. I will do better. I'm bad. Bad CQ.
Too late for me.
You're a lost cause. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Look forward to seeing y'all next week. We got a great interview and some more surprises coming soon. So stay tuned. Shots. Say goodnight, Mad Mike.
Good night, Mad Mike.
There it is. Bye, guys.
Doc! Oh, no! We're too late! We missed it! Oh, jeez, this is heavy. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Doc, I got a time machine. I'm just gonna punch in the coordinates. Pop Culture Warrior, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WTF Nation Radio. Now crank this bad boy up to 88 miles per hour.
Let's see it.